Welcome to Invisible Strings, where we tug at the little threads that hold our lives together. From mental health and relationships to marriage, motherhood, and all the beautiful chaos in between. I'm Katie, your guide to navigating life's tangled web, one string at a time. Think of this as your weekly dose of insight, sprinkled with a bit of laughter, some heartfelt chats, and maybe even a happy tear or two. So, whether you're juggling a million things or you just need a break, let's untangle life together, because those invisible strings, they're what keep us connected. This is Invisible Strings. Let's get started. Happy Friday. I'm so happy that you are here and listening. This is a little bit of a trigger warning because this week's episode of Invisible Strings, it contains some honest conversations about domestic violence, miscarriage, and infertility. And I know that these are really heavy topics, and I just want to honor the hearts that may still be healing. But I also want to encourage you to listen, because this isn't just a story of pain. It's a powerful testimony of redemption, restoration, and God's faithfulness. If you're in a place to hear it, we believe this story will speak to your soul. Guys, welcome back to Invisible Strings. I am so excited. This is literally the best day of my life. My very, very, very amazing friend, Emily Fox, is here.
Hi.
Welcome to the studio, Emily.
Thank you. I love your studio.
You love it?
I love it.
Yeah. So
I
cute.
do. It is.
I think that everybody that's listening needs to understand how we met.
I think so too. I mean, I just feel like it's a very crucial part to our story.
Does it say rise and shine on his butt?
Yes, and that's actually how we greet each other in the morning.
Rise and shine. You say that?
Yes, it's a song. I'm not going to sing it.
Can I hear it?
Sure. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Stetson James Fox.
Oh my God.
And then when Chandler's with us, it's Stetson and Chandler
Fox.
I mean, I feel like the last time I did this, it was karaoke.
Okay. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
There's like people that listen to this in different countries. Isn't that weird?
Yes. And I find that very fascinating.
Me too.
The findings have been interesting.
If you're listening right now and you're from a different country that's not the United States of America, can you please reach out and talk to me about where you live and how you found us? And I just there's people in like Japan. Like what?
But do it in like a voice memo.
Yeah, make sure you do it
so
in
we
a
can
voice
hear
memo.
the accent.
And also, I wonder if it's like translated.
I would feel like if it wasn't,
No.
we could certainly find a way to translate
But I don't.
it.
But like, is my podcast being?
Could it be like a Netflix thing where you don't realize until 10 minutes into it that it's actually a different language, but you're already invested, and so you can't turn the movie off?
No.
But you're
Listen.
just so distracted.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I can absolutely not watch a movie, and Netflix, shame on them for doing that, because I know the minutes
We're so hooked.
that I hear and I watch and I'm like, wait, is this a movie from another country? And I have to check first because I'm not getting invested.
But it looks so good because it says 2025. It came out this year. Why haven't I seen this movie yet? And then you click it. And
No, I hate it.
5 minutes into it, you're like,
No.
that's why.
Makes me so mad. I know the minute I see the actors.
Oh, so you're better than I am.
Because I've been duped so many times.
That's fair.
And I get very excited about these movies.
That's
these
fair.
shows, just anything that's new. Okay, so the way that we met was probably one of my most favorite stories ever. You guys, that one night I was out with Brad and some friends, and we ended the night at the local bar. And we got there, and I go to order a drink at the bar, and everyone else stays in their seat. And I'm standing there. I'm looking around. There's a lot of people there. And this gorgeous woman looks at me and she's like, this is going to sound so weird, but I just feel like, did I make up soul sisters? Did you say that?
I probably said that.
Okay. She's like, this is going to sound really weird, but like, I feel like we are like soul sisters. And I looked at her and I was like,
we should be friends.
yeah, and we should be friends. And I immediately was like, I'm obsessed with you. And she's also so beautiful. I was like, okay, I agree. Yes.
Okay, let me tell you my version. So we're at our favorite place and we've been there for a minute. And I look over and I thought, oh my gosh, she reminds me so much of home. You should remind me so much of home. And I was like, we just have to be friends. So I walk over and I said,
No, I
turn around.
You
actually,
were sitting at the
y'all were-
bar.
yes. And you were right behind us at like the high top. And I turn around like, this is going to sound really weird, but I feel like we're soul sisters and we should be best friends.
Yeah. And also, you guys, she's a photographer, which is crazy because, I'm also a
You
photographer.
are. I know. And we got to talking. And then what happened?
Yeah. So we exchanged each other's Instagrams.
Sure.
We did.
Yep.
Earl takes photography.
There it is. Yeah.
If you're interested in looking.
Yeah.
Or you just want to see how beautiful she is.
No.
You'll also see her on my Instagram page. So if you don't follow me, follow me. Anyways,
I'm going to keep making
noises
if you keep that up.
Was so excited about this meeting that I go back to my table of other friends and I'm like, you guys, and I was like so excited. I'm like, this girl at the bar, see that girl right there? And Brad's like, yeah, she's so hot. And I was like, yeah, I know. She just said to me that we should be soul sisters. Yes. And my other girlfriend was like, ugh, she's probably a lesbian. And I was like, really? I don't think so. But if she is, that's fine. She's gorgeous. That's okay.
Because I hadn't introduced you to my husband.
No, you hadn't. But it didn't matter. It was fine. And like, what a rude thing to say. But also don't be jealous because she knew I didn't think she was cute.
Okay, but my favorite was we're new to Forest Hills. We had probably been going maybe 6 weeks before that, maybe. And I look up and I'm elbowing Shane in his ribs. And he's like, what? I was like, it's my soul sister.
And this is probably a year later.
Yeah. No.
Lesson?
Yes. It was the night that we went out.
The night that I met you for the first time?
Yes.
Was it like 6 months?
Less than that, I think.
felt like it was like winter time. I don't even know when was that even? Last year.
No.
Well, last year is when we saw each other at Forest Hill.
Are you sure it wasn't like the year before that?
Yeah, it probably was.
It was the year before that. I think it was like 2 years ago.
Okay. Well, time just is fast. So, but we see each other. We meet each other.
Yes.
And then we don't, like, I followed her. Like, I saw her stuff. I was like, oh, she's so cute. She's so cool. I wonder where that location was. I wonder where that location was.
Yeah. Photography.
We didn't really connect again.
Mm-mm.
And then...
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. And then that same day I turned around and I'm like, no, we were both crying.
We were, what song was it? It was at the end.
I don't know, but we were both crying.
Oh, we were both crying. I know. We were like low key almost swiping each other's tears.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was just so good.
I know.
Like, it was just so good. It was such a good service. It was such a good song.
Yeah.
And it just touched our hearts and the Holy Spirit was just pumping through us. And we were just like, it was so good. I know.
And I'm like, I know you? And you're like,
that's when
yes.
I was elbowing him because I was like, I know her. How do I know her? That's what I was saying. Yes.
And then I said, my gosh, you're my soul sister from the bar.
Yes. And
it was like the best day ever. We definitely had instant chemistry when we re-met. And I feel like we were like told our stories right away. Like immediately. Like everything.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like that's just what we do in general though.
If you see us coming, be prepared.
You're gonna know.
You're in for a treat. You're welcome.
Ask us.
You're welcome. And your story is, I think everyone has an amazing story, but your story is so...
Everybody's story is truly amazing.
Filled with... You can't really grasp this right now because you can't see her, but like she is the brightest light in the entire universe. And the story that she's going to tell... Like, you're like, wait, I don't get it. Does not make sense to me because how could anyone not be nice to you ever? I know.
You're so sweet.
You know that's true.
You're so sweet.
Your story is so important to talk about and to tell because first of all, you've lived 100 lives already and you're only 39 and you have so much wisdom and you do.
Katie.
You have so much wisdom.
Katie G.
The life you've lived.
We're friends. That's why we're friends.
The life you've lived.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much for saying all of that.
And I know that there are so many people that are listening that are going through one of the 7 lives and are going to really get so much out of this podcast because you guys, we're talking about We're talking about marriages. We're talking about
Plural.
trace. We're talking about infidelity. We're talking about abuse. We're talking about infertility. And there are so many aspects of your life that there's women out there that are going to be they're just going to feel very connected to your story.
I hope so. And that is the only reason why I'm doing it.
Because you guys, she was like, I can't do a podcast. I don't know how to do a podcast.
No.
That's not me either. I didn't know either 14 weeks ago.
Okay, but I mean, you were obviously born to do this. I mean, it is so obvious the second you started this. I was like, what? Wait a minute. Why? She's been doing this for years. You're like, no, this is the very first time I've done this. I mean, from the music to the intros to the next, to the next, to the next. Oh yeah, it's your turn, girlfriend. I'm just telling you, everybody knows it, that you are literally living your purpose right now. And
Well,
it's
that's so
pretty
sweet of
cool
you.
to see.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
that.
And if you edit that out, I will. I already know you're trying to like edit.
No, that's not staying in.
Nope, can't. Hey, if I'm doing this, you've got to keep it
Okay.
in. That's part of it.
So you guys buckle up, put those headphones in if you haven't already, which I really actually hope that you have because
Oh yeah.
because we're going to come back with Emily's stories of her 7 lives. So I hope that when you guys listen to this, you are able to connect with Emily and maybe you're able to listen to it and you can relate to it yourself, or you know someone who's maybe going through something like this and you can share it. So one of the things I would love to debunk and just make aware for anybody out there is that when someone is telling you their story and they're telling you the things that have happened in their lives, like I've already been married and divorced. I've been married 2 times. I've been married 3 times. I feel like people automatically have this like preconceived notion in their mind that there is something wrong with you and that you are the issue. But I would challenge you guys to be very open-minded to continue listening to the story, because in Emily's case, that is absolutely the opposite of what happened here. And being married, just because you can say you've been married once and you've been in your marriage for a certain amount of time does not mean that you're actually happy. And it takes a lot of strength, and it takes a very brave person to walk away from a marriage, because there's so much, like, think about it for yourself as you're sitting here listening to this. You've had a wedding, your parents have, or maybe you have put your own money into a wedding, and it turns out that this person is not the person for you. And it just takes a lot. It takes more guts to walk away from something that isn't right than it does to stay in something that also isn't right.
Yeah, I just want to be clear that though, when I got married the first time, I walked into it at 20 years old.
Yeah.
Married my high school sweetheart. We were together for 5 years before we got married. Dated once when we were 14, and then I was 16, 17 when we started dating seriously, and I was engaged at 19, married at 20, 21 maybe. And yeah, you know, he was my best friend. I felt like we surfed together. We rode dirt bikes together. We grew up together, basically. We would go, so funny. We were obviously in high school and broke, and we would go and work at this little Japanese restaurant. We would sweep the floors before we went surfing, and they would pay us in food. And so we would grab boxes of teriyaki chicken and head out to the beach and surf, and then come home. And it was, I mean, the best. And so I thought, gosh, you know, it just doesn't get any better than this, right? And so we got married. He became a police officer about 3 years into it, and 4 years into it, and little things started happening. And I'm a huge proponent of law enforcement. I don't want to, you know, make it sound like that, you know, I'm not pro law enforcement. I am. My current husband used to be a police officer.
Yeah.
And
like
he was
men in
a
your
great one. Evidently, we got married, and I think, like, in my mind, you know, everything's new. We voted together for the first time. We got our driver's licenses together for the first time. Everything was just the first, and it was just glorious and wonderful and all the things. You do go into, it doesn't matter how many times you've been married, your first year is always the hardest. And it was. And we were the first ones out of our friends to get married. Long and short of it was, when he became a police officer, there started to become some separation. He became very kind of forceful with me physically. I think, it was hard for him to shut off. And one day he came in and said that, he had met somebody and that it was time for me to move out. And
you met a criminal, or like, what do you mean you met somebody?
He met somebody that was a fellow cop, and they would meet up. And it was one of those moments where you were in counseling and I knew something was wrong. This has been my best friend for years. We were together for almost 10 years. We were married for 5. And, and I'm going, what do you mean I need to live somewhere else? And the story's pretty wild, but I'll make it short. But basically, we were in counseling. I didn't know what was going on. Something didn't feel right. And it turns out he wanted to move her into my home and move me out. And there was no coming back from that. Asked if we could work stuff out. This has been somebody that I grew up with, even from a friendship level. What was I particularly happy? No, not really. But we were married. That's a covenant before God. And just because you're not happy doesn't mean you can just peace out. He had been having an affair for about 6 months, and that was going to be his new soulmate. So I moved into an apartment.
26 years old.
Yeah, 26 years old. I moved into an apartment. My grandfather had just passed away, and my parents had just gotten a divorce. This was all in Charleston, and then where I grew up. And then my mom moved to Hawaii, I guess about 6 months after that. And she lived there for about 13 years. And my father moved to downtown Charleston. And my sister, bless her, she was finishing up school, and she was with the love of her life, who she's still married to, over in Wofford. That's where they met. And yeah, I got an apartment, and I had never really dated. I was with the same guy that I was with for forever. And so I went on dates, probably not the healthiest to just move forward, so quickly. But it took me about 6 months, and then I got on, a couple apps for like a minute, and that was miserable. I couldn't understand all the lingo. And then next thing you know, I had to write it in my phone, like, Tim 24 likes golf, I couldn't, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it.
How many dates did you go on?
I guess a handful before I met the number 2, we'll call him. I kind of felt like I met my match at that point. He reached out to me on Facebook, and like hindsight is kind of funny that it was Facebook that, he found me and reached out to me, because that's kind of how he ended up finding his others. So anyways, yeah, we went on a date, and he was everything that the first one wasn't. He was tall. He sang country music. He was from this little town called Monroe. He was living in Charleston, and he was a mechanical engineer and all the things. And we hit it off. And so we went boyfriend and girlfriend very quickly. We went exclusive very quickly, and we started dating.
What did you like about him?
I think what I liked about him was he was literally, like I said, everything that the first one wasn't. We should give them names.
Bob?
Okay, Bob. Yeah, so Bob, Bob's the first one. The second one, we'll call him Russ. I don't know Russ. That's perfect. So Russ, these are all fake names. What I liked about Russ was that he was everything that Bob wasn't. So he was outgoing. He could captivate a room. He was down for anything. You want to go to this trip, you want to go over here, over there, travel. He was down. It was just always easy. It was just fun. We had a lot in common.
Did you guys know people in common?
I used to be into like figure and fitness competitions and stuff like that. And he did as well. And it's a small community. Charleston's a big, small place. So if you're into like bodybuilding or whatever, everybody that's into bodybuilding. If you go to Folly, everybody at Folly. If you go to Isle Palms, everybody at Isle Palms. So it's like a small, big place. And we had somewhat met each other before at the gym, like once before. We had been exclusive for 6 months. I was working in sales, and that contract had ended, and he was being relocated back to his home place in Monroe.
Okay. So then you were so lucky that you got to move to Monroe, North Carolina from Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, sight unseen. So made the move, and
were you guys engaged yet?
No, we were not.
You felt like this guy was like,
yeah, this is it.
He is amazing.
Like you hear of like the term love bomb. It was like a 1.5 love bomb.
That had to feel so good though.
Yeah.
What does love bomb mean for anyone out there who doesn't know?
All the things all at once.
He's obsessed with you.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
I think, again, he was kind of everything that Bob had lacked. And so I thought, gosh, this is great. Like, you know, tall, dark, and handsome. This is perfect. And we have so much in common, and all the things are the same, and all, you know, it's just easy and all that good stuff. And, you know, none of it was real. None of it. And I didn't know.
So when did you end up finding out that this was completely a false relationship?
After we got married.
Tell us about it.
So we got engaged about 1.5 years into it, and I was walking down the aisle, and I walked myself down the aisle.
Was it his first marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my goodness, why am I hearing no? And I actually have a really interesting story. So I was working for a company in Charlotte doing sales. I remember that Friday before I got married, there was a piebald buck. Do you know what that is? A piebald buck?
Is it like a white?
And off Canton Road, it was standing to the right of the overhead expressway.
Okay.
And I'm going down, is it 77, 485 to 77? Yep. I'm going to Uptown to my job for a Friday meeting. And I look to my right, and there is a giant, like 12-point piebald buck.
Okay.
Standing on the grassy area to the right before, I want to say, exit 8. And I took it as like, my Gemma is giving me his blessing. All these things that I had been like somewhat feeling before I walked down the aisle, just rest assured that, you know, that's him giving his blessing. And, you know, that's kind of where I was with all of this. And there were a few little red flags. I mean, I thought, gosh, like he's, you know, he grabs my shoulders when we're having a disagreement. That must mean that, you know, oh, well, he just cares about me that much.
Right.
Again, everything that I had not experienced before. Before it was like, oh, you know, you got this, kid. I'll see you later. You know, oh, hey, bro, what's up? Oh, so I went from like, hey, bro, what's up? You want to go surf? To like a, what I would say, like a real relationship that has romance and things like that. And so
Passion.
So I didn't know that, you know, was a red flag leading into a very horrible situation. We go to our honeymoon, which is on a cruise in October. If anybody's taken a cruise in October, very first cruise, plates were coming off of the tables, shattering because the boat, we couldn't even dock at any of the places because the pool water was going into the water and the ocean was coming into the pool. Like the ship was topsy-turvy. And the second we get there, he was very upset that we were there. And I didn't know why. This was the day after we get married. Okay. I'm thinking, what, like he's been acting kind of weird. Like, I don't really know what's going on. We get into the cabin and he grabs me by the neck and throws me against the wall and is upset because we didn't have like enough towels. So I immediately, you know, make sure that we have enough towels, right?
Of course.
So I see this sweet little old man and I said, hey, and my neck was really red and I had obviously been crying and I said, hey, do you have any more towels? And he said, yes, ma'am. Are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. I just, you know, we just need some more towels. Thank you. And I grab them. Well, that sweet man checked on me probably 6 or 7 times.
Really?
Through the cruise because he was so worried about me. I was being thrown against the wall. I was being held in chokeholds. It was awful. I was throwing up because the cruise ship was literally about to turn upside down. It was intense and it followed us home. So for 6 months, I remember like nails being dug into the door frames, being dragged back into the house so that he can hurt me more. Like, it was pretty awful.
Did you think to yourself after this cruise, like this something must just be wrong? Like,
Yeah.
like this isn't,
Yeah.
surely I've been with this man for almost 2 years now and I've never seen this behavior ever.
1000%. So I went to AT&T and I was sobbing and I said, I need phone records. I need to know what's going on. And the guy was like, I can't give those to you, ma'am. And I was like, told him my whole life story. And he was like, okay, but if you say they're from me, like, I'm going to get fired. And I was like, got it.
Cool.
I started to look through the phone records and he had contacted somebody like and talked to them for 6 hours before I walked down the aisle. And it turns out it was this lady. And this is who, and I say lady because she was like 10 years older than him. And she had like 3 kids and they had been having an affair pretty much 3 months before we walked down the aisle up until, or 3 months before, 3 months before we got married. And then while we were married, and she wasn't the only one. And so here I am having like silent panic attacks in the closet. I'm in sales. You can't have a bad day. And I'm wearing long sleeve wrap dresses in June. I don't believe in divorce. I don't believe in it.
Right.
And here I am. Here I am again. And I think I had to have enough confidence to realize that, okay, this might be the bottom of the bottom. This is my all-time low. That I'm not scared to get divorced again. And it was terrifying. And I didn't want to go back home to Charleston because I felt like I was going to go with my tail tucked between my legs, and here I did. I left on my high horse, like Prince
I'm moving up.
Charming. Yeah. Whatever you
Swept you off your
swept
feet.
me off my feet
To Monroe.
Yes, I'm the problem. Hi,
Right.
It's me. I'm the problem.
Right.
Obviously. And like I said, I'm in sales. So you're constantly getting doors slammed in your face,
Literally.
Oh, yeah. And so I'm like, well, dang. Well, what am I doing? Because all I want to do is just please these people and please people. That's like such a huge problem for me too, is something I fight every day is making sure that, everybody's good. I just want to make sure they're good. And, so I'm like searching my soul, like trying to figure out what have I done wrong? What am I doing?
So what point were you like, okay, this is absolutely not this is not the right person for me?
When I got him in the back seat.
So you finally actually caught him
Yes.
in the act with his wiener out. And then you're like, proof. Okay, great.
I think I'm good.
I think great.
I think we're good. I think I'm good. So I was like, good. I mean, because in the Bible, it does talk about, there are a couple circumstances where you can get a divorce.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to wait for both.
Right.
And I did. And I was scared to get a second divorce, but I think you just finally muster up enough where you just go, okay, this is just not okay. And I'm not going to be alive if I stay in this. Not to be dramatic, but
I'm going to then be with Jesus.
I will be with Jesus if I stay in this relationship. So I went and I got a restraining order. The judge gave me a 50B restraining order, which is the most intense restraining order you can get. They went to his house and took away his guns, and he wasn't allowed to get near me for 2 years. And in the process, I got off all social media. I didn't go back home to Charleston because I was like, I just don't want to go with my tail tucked between my legs. I was so low I've always had a pretty decent self-esteem, but like it wrecked me. And so I got off all social media, and I was the first tenant at the mill, the little cotton mill in
so
downtown.
Cute.
And it was just like my safe haven.
Yeah.
And that's where I stayed and healed. I had a library card and Theodore Roosevelt, and I would walk down to the library and we would sit by the fire and pray and read and have a glass of bourbon and turn on some good music and heal. Because I never healed from Bob either. I really didn't. I didn't heal from either. And so it was like a double whammy. You don't know this, but I actually had a friend who went to Forest Hill. I don't know if she still does. I never see her. If she does, she goes to the 11 o'clock. And I would love to reconnect with her. But she said that my church gives therapy sessions.
Really?
And she gives like 4 of them. You should come and just tell them that you go to Forest Hill.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I need therapy for sure. Yeah.
So did you get it?
So I did. And I went to Forest Hill and I went through the 4 sessions, and I think I was so messed up that they actually gave me 4 more.
Oh my gosh.
It was like
oh my gosh.
buy one, get one. So I had 8 sessions. And it's so funny when you go through trauma, you kind of black things out.
Yep.
And I couldn't tell you who that therapist was or what she looked like.
You think she's still there?
Probably. She probably sees me every Sunday. And I have no idea who she is. I have no idea what she looks like. I guarantee it.
If she's listening, she needs to make herself aware,
Chime in.
Available.
Chime in.
To think.
Because it does get better. Insert Shane Fox.
Insert Shane. Shane Fox did not start out as a love interest.
No, he was my best friend. I was starting to date again, and I was very nervous, very scared about that. But there was a really nice guy that I was talking to, and he made it less scary. I was throwing these brunches at my place on Sundays because I had no social media. So I wanted some sort of social interaction outside of my job. I'm talking to 300 people a day, but like I wanted like some me time. And so I was throwing these brunches, and they would turn into brunners. Like literally we'd start at 10 and we would end up, socializing until like 10, 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday. And so what turned into, in my little 700 square foot apartment, turned into like 10 people. It ended at like with maybe 40. Every Sunday. It was hysterical.
How fun is that?
It was a blast.
Emily
we had
knows
so much
in this
fun.
town.
That is not true. My husband does, but I don't.
Together. It should be like the mayors.
Oh
so
my
fun.
gosh.
Listen.
Stop. So no. Oh, so one of my best girlfriends at the time, her boyfriend had known Shane since they were 15. Okay. And so he just come on. So he would come to the brunches. I knew he was a dad that was divorced and had a kid, and he kind of was going through the same thing that I was going through. He had come from a little bit of trauma as well. So we just kind of like trauma bonded.
Yeah. But as friends.
But as best friends.
Yeah.
He would sit outside. Sometimes he would bring like a 6-pack, and sometimes we wouldn't even talk. Sometimes he would read, I would read, and we would sit by the fire, and
like feels like a movie to me.
Yeah.
I see it.
And here I am, I'm dating, and I'm telling him about these dates. What do you think?
He's like, great, get rid of him. Sounds awful.
Well, several months after that, he was helping me take down dried magnolia off the top of my cabinets one Christmas. And I was like, what is this? Like, why are you here? And why are you helping me? Like, what is that?
And why are you so cute?
Why are you so cute?
Why?
And he was like, I don't know. And I said, is this a thing? Like are we supposed to be dating? Like, what is this?
Do you want me to have your baby?
What? Not even yet. But maybe.
Maybe.
And so we went off to Asheville that weekend, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's chemistry. My God.
Let that dog in, please.
Yes. Oh my gosh, there's chemistry. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you guys took a trip to Asheville.
Yes.
And just the 2 of you?
Yes.
Had it been planned?
No, we just went on a whim. We were like, well, we have to see what this looks like. And we don't want anybody to know because all of our friends,
But the sexual tension was high. Obvious.
So I broke up with the guy that I had been talking to because I couldn't go see what this was, And so there it is. And here we are. Yeah.
So you've been married to Shane for
6 years.
6 years now.
6 years. Yeah.
And how soon after your Asheville trip did you guys decide this is like a real thing?
We came back as boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
1,000. Yeah.
And then how soon after that did you guys get married?
A year, maybe.
Okay. And then had you guys talked about having kids and what that looks like, because he was a dad.
He was a
He had the
dad.
sweetest little boy.
He is a dad. I think that was like so much of the attraction too.
Yeah.
With the way that he loves his son.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like a real man.
Yes. Like I know he's exhausted. I know he worked a long, hard day. And it's like Chan just wants to be held. And at the time, you know, Chan was so little. He just, I mean, 4 years old, bless his sweet little heart. And he just wants his daddy. And so he would just scoop him up and just hold him and do whatever he wanted with him. And I was like, wow, that's a dad. Like the patience of this man. And he just loves him so much. And Chan adores him, you know?
So you're like, this guy is safe.
Yes.
Okay. We are not Bob and we're definitely not Russ.
No. Yeah. And it's fun because he has all the qualities that I found exciting before, which is he's very spontaneous. He would pick up and drive to Charleston tomorrow if I asked him to. You know, I mean, he's just, our values and morals and everything are just like things that the way he disciplines Chan, like the things that like I would probably have to explain to somebody, you know, it's just understood. And it's so easy.
So you guys end up getting married and you start talking about starting your own family and how excited you are to be able to have a baby with.
Oh yeah. And give Chan a big bro or a little sis, make
Yeah.
him a big brother.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing would give me more joy. And plus I felt like it would be a first that I can give a husband. It would be a first that I could give somebody that I love very much. And so we started trying immediately. It wasn't really working. And I thought, gosh, you know, like maybe I just need to start paying attention to ovulation or whatever. And so I started to somewhat pay attention. To know me is to know I'm very unregulated, like go with the flow. I love things to be in order. I'm just not going to put them in order.
Totally. Me too.
Somebody sent me something the other day and they said, I identify as a type C.
Which is?
We like order, but like,
can you do it for me?
And I'm not gonna know where my keys are.
No.
Take
care of me, please.
Unfortunately, I'm independent, but yes, please.
Right. It's both. Like
yeah.
I'm independent, but also I want you to take care of me.
Yeah.
But also I can do it myself if I have to.
100%.
I don't really want to though.
No.
So
how you do this?
You have discovered at this point, you're like doing the ovulation crap, I'm sure, which is like the worst.
Yeah. I have to start paying attention. So I'm starting to pay attention and it's not working. So I'm like, I should probably go talk to my OB and see what's going on. So they get this test, and I say this to any 20-year-old, please, next yearly appointment that you have with your OB, go and get your AMH levels tested. AMH. It'll tell you the quality of your eggs. It'll tell you around about, okay, you've got plenty, you're healthy, you've got all these eggs, they're good quality and all that good stuff.
Okay.
And you'll have plenty. So I went and got my AMH levels tested, and it turns out they are that of like a 60-year-old, like 60-year-old.
So everybody that's listening is going to get their AMA checked.
Yes. Get your AMH levels checked, because that will tell you, okay, I have time. Okay. We're newlyweds. We want to start a family, but I just want to make sure that when I do want to start a family, I'm able to, and it'll be easy. Or, okay, when we do want to start a family, I know that I'm going to need some extra assistance. Fast forward, I go ahead and my AMH levels are awful. My OB is saying, you need to go see a specialist. And what I'm hearing her say is, oh, you're fine. You have time. So
type C.
So my friend said, oh, I have this like Chinese doctor. She does acupuncture. You need to go to her in Charlotte once a week. Let her work on you. You'll be pregnant tomorrow.
Okay, great.
That sounds a lot better to me. So I don't like to take like a Tylenol if I can help it.
Right.
So I go once a week for a year, lay there. And for some people, acupuncture is like Some people fall asleep. Me, not so much. Having needles in your earlobes and on your wrists and down your shins it legit was torture to me. I felt like it was, yeah. And you lay there and she said, oh, you just need to lay there and relax and meditate. I'm like, there's needles in my shins. Cool. So that was not for me. So, but I did it for
It took you
a year.
long time to figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, she said no gluten, no dairy, anti-inflammation diet. So I excluded gluten and dairy and did the acupuncture. Some people are like, oh yeah, I do that on the daily. For me, being a non-regimented person, just somebody that just kind of flies by the seat of her pants, it's just torturous, all of it. Well, I said,
it's a lot
you know
of planning.
what? Yeah.
It's a lot of thinking and planning.
And because of the bodybuilding stuff that I did, it's triggering for me too, because I had to be so regimented. I had to have all my meals prepped. I had to have all of this. And it was horrible. I did it for like 5 years and it was awful.
It sounds really hard.
It was awful. So I go to the doctor and I said, look, there's got to be some medicine or something. My friend told me about this stuff called Clomid. What is that? And she said, yeah. She said, we can try Clomid. She said, let's get you on a dose. So I try it. I felt fire from anybody that has ever tried Clomid. You will totally relate to this. You feel fire from your feet to the top of your head and rage. I mean, really? Rage. And it takes a lot for me to get to that point. Like, I love peace. I love everything just being good. And I'm telling you, somebody sneezed and I'm like, who sneezed? I mean, it was awful.
Terrified me from you.
Awful, right?
Yeah.
So I know, mean, angry Southern woman.
No way. That is not you.
No. And so I did 3 rounds and nothing happened. And I said, I think I need to see a specialist. She's like, I've been telling you that for 3 years. So, but I didn't want to do IVF. I was like, I was in denial that I was going to need IVF.
Yeah.
So I go to one, there's 2 big ones in Charlotte. I go to both of those. They tell me there's no way that you with your AMH and your levels and your eggs, they're like, you do not have what it takes to do IVF. You legit cannot, your eggs will not survive the process. What if I did just a couple rounds just to give it a shot? And they're like, it would be a waste of hundreds of thousands of dollars for you to do this process. They're like,
this is the second infertility place or the first?
Both.
Okay.
The 2 big ones in Charlotte. So then I was like, well, I just need to go back home. I just need to go to Coastal and see what they have to say. So I go in, Dr. Julie, she's like world renowned. She looks at my chart and everything. She goes, I think you can. She said, but here's the deal. It's going to take 4 rounds for a less than 10% chance. And it would be a fresh transfer. And I was like, whoa.
How much does that cost?
Like $75K a pop.
A pop. Okay.
Yeah.
Times 4.
Times 4. And for less than 10% chance. And then here's my favorite part. So they appreciate this. So they said, yeah, we have like a therapist on site that will walk through all of this. I really strongly recommend that you look into donor eggs. Okay. But like, what does that mean exactly? They said that you would look at people's portraits of when they were younger and try to find somebody that maybe looks similar to you. And then you would combine that with Shane and then that would be inserted and you would carry that baby. And I was like, but I feel like I already have that. Like that's Chan. Like he has like his mom, his beautiful mom and, Shane. And I feel like, gosh, like I know I can love a child that I didn't birth, but like, I don't know if I can do that, if that just doesn't sit. And so as she's telling me this, she said, I'm going to take you to the next room. And I thought she was taking me to the therapist's room to go talk about this further. So I sit there and I tell her my whole history about how the infidelity. And I just feel like at this point, like it would be like I'm carrying like some other woman's stuff with Shane and I just don't know. And then I'm carrying it. And like, I know there's a lot that goes in with the DNA, but I'm fighting this process. And I felt like I was in such a safe place to share. And she's just looking at me just like you. And she's just nodding her head and she's being such a good listener. And I look at Shane and he's staring at me, but I'm kind of like, look, I need to be empowered to feel like I can say what I need to say right now. I'm going to ignore those harsh looks that I'm getting from him.
I don't care.
I don't care. I am about maybe 10 minutes into this, and I look down and her card says nurse practitioner.
Oh,
she was just not the therapist.
She was just coming to check your blood pressure and stuff. But she was such a good listener.
God bless her. So then we go to the accountant and she's like, this is how much it's going to cost. So anyways, I'm checking out and the lady looks at me and she goes, gosh, I just don't know what I'd do without my kids. And I was like, love that for me. So the whole thing was radical. So, and I think at that point, it just started to sink in that this may not be a possibility. Because
this is number 3.
Yeah.
It's kind of been like, if you don't pay me $300,000,
right,
and buy me a new beach house, you're not getting pregnant.
1,000%. And so, we decided that we were just gonna, just be grateful for what we have, which is, our beautiful son, Chandler, and, my stepson, and who I have known since he was 3, almost 4 years old. And that was going to be it. And I'm just going to be the best stepmom I can be. Right.
Yep.
And so we actually ended up getting pregnant naturally. And
yeah, of course.
Okay. And we went to go hear the heartbeat, and he was about 9 weeks and the baby wasn't there. It was wild. It got absorbed into the tissue, which is something that I think was pretty, I don't know. My sister said it's like, because I ended up having to go to the hospital for this. And my sister said it was like God just took the baby straight up there. And I thought that was really sweet.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah. And then,
but what did that feel like?
That was after everything that I've been through, that was the hardest thing I think I've ever had to go through in my entire life. To want something so, so bad and to miraculously have it and then it just gets stripped. It's like, what? Like, why? And like I was saved when I was 14. We were on a missions trip and, I decided I was always raised in the church, but that's when like my actual personal walk started to kind of take place. And it just really didn't make sense to me that this would happen because I've always wanted babies. I've been babysitting since I was 12 years old. Yeah. Why is this happening to me?
So did you feel like you were questioning God and you were kind of like, is this like, like, why?
Yeah. Yeah. Like with everything that I've been through, and I'm not saying that was, God's fault. Like, I'm not saying like he made me marry those horrible people, it's not like that. It was more like, right. But I mean, my gosh, he did. And I think that was like, halt, like, don't do that.
But again, how do you stop a wedding that's one day away?
Yeah. And yeah.
We don't trust ourselves enough.
No.
Especially when we're young.
No.
We don't have like the wisdom.
No.
And we just don't trust ourselves. And so even though you remember that was there, we are like, well, this certainly couldn't be bad again.
Right.
Like,
I'm not going into this like half-heartedly every single time. I'm going, oh, this is going to be it. This is amazing.
And guys, guess what? I'm moving to Monroe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a cute town.
Yeah.
It actually is.
Yeah.
So once you went through this miscarriage, did it take you a long time to recover? And how did you feel? Were you like, okay?
I had heard that once you got pregnant, that, it's going to happen quickly after that. So I went ahead and squeezed in a quick, Botox appointment. I went ahead and did all the things, that I couldn't do because I was going to get pregnant again.
Immediately.
10%. Mm-hmm. This is definitely going to happen. Well, 6 months goes by, 6 more months goes by, another 6 months goes by. And I'm like, okay, it's just not going to happen. I looked at Shane and I said, look, babe, this has been a long road. This has been a huge, toll on us. And thank God we were such good friends and I had faith through all of it. I really did. Yeah. And it was tested, but I just looked at him and I said, you know what? God knows my heart, and he knows that the desires of my heart. And there's a reason why I've always wanted babies. There's a reason why I've waited for it to be right. There's a reason
Thank
why.
God. Thank God.
Seriously. And so I thought, he must have something absolutely incredible planned for my life without babies. That vision, that picture of like you're holding, I know y'all have seen it, and you have a flower and you're giving it to Jesus and he has a whole bouquet behind his
Yes.
back.
Oh my gosh.
Right? That's what
the
I
most beautiful bouquet.
That's what I kept thinking was, you know what, God, like you must have something absolutely incredible planned for my life without babies. And I just can't wait to see what that looks like. And it wasn't like I lost faith. I just transferred it. So people say all the time, well, once you stop trying, it's going to happen. If I had a nickel for every time somebody told me that, I just wanted to scream. I walk outside in our neighborhood and I hear 20 kids laughs. You go to the baby showers. I got to where I had to stop taking maternity pictures as a photographer because I would sob after every shoot.
Yep.
And it was awful and wonderful at the same time. But I looked at Shane and I said, we've got to refocus. So bless his heart. I tell him all the time, he's my favorite husband. Shane Fox is the man.
Shane Fox is one word.
I love him so much.
One word, Fox.
It's crazy. Yeah. So we decided that we were just going to see what God has in store for us without babies.
Period.
And so that Sunday, I was in church and I had my eyes closed. I was listening to the worship. I was in full sway, and this 3D picture of this 3D ultrasound, that like orangey yellow vision of a baby has got closer and closer and closer and closer and closer until I had to open up my eyes. I was like, whoa. I was like, that was wild. And I told Shane about it after church and I was like, babe, the weirdest thing happened to me. And I was like, wasn't that sweet that God let me see what that baby was going to look like?
That was such a beautiful gift that God gave you that you thought was just going to be something that was what happened in the past, but an actual reality. What was that picture going to be?
So it was going to be our healthy baby boy. I was helping Shane put a railing on the front of our house. It was hot as Hades. It was right after the 4th of July. It was July 5th. And I fell over the porch and I was like, this is weird. That, I know, I don't think I only had like a couple at the 4th of July party.
I shouldn't be.
I should not. And so, I looked at him and he was like, you need to take a test. And I was like, no, I don't need to take a test. And I said, that chapter's behind us. And I took a test and I was fully pregnant. We went to the doctor and we found out we were having twins. So I had nothing. I mean, obviously I did have something, but I had nothing in my left side. I had maybe 2 follicles on my right side. And for those not with a PhD in infertility, that's basically like what releases the egg. And so I maybe had like 2 on one side and 1 on the other.
Okay. So the doctor comes in and is like, twins.
Yep. You're having twins. They went and looked at my left ovary, my right ovary, and said that I had actually released an egg from either side at the exact same time. And I was like, that's like impossible because I don't even have anything on my left side, but God, right?
But God.
Yeah. And so what kept playing in the back of my head was, but I only saw one baby like that Sunday at church, which was so weird. And I felt such peace when I saw it because I realized, oh my gosh, well, that wasn't obviously the baby that I had lost. It was the baby that was currently in my tummy.
Yeah.
And so a few weeks go by, I go back for another ultrasound. This is to hear the heartbeats. And of course, I'm nervous with every ultrasound. Funny story. So I actually had never had like an actual ultrasound. They were always on the vaginal ultrasounds.
Yes.
And so I would be really excited, anxious, nervous, all the things before every one. So I would go ahead in the bathroom to empty your bladder, and I would go ahead and put the undies in the purse and just go ahead and let's just get the show on the road.
Let's go.
So I did that. And I walk in, she's like, okay, go ahead and pull your dress up. And I was like, okay. And she's like, nope, all the way. So I pulled dress
Vagina.
all the way up to my chin.
No underwear on.
All the way up to my chin, naked as a jaybird. And so she could
rub your tummy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I've never had one of these before. I didn't know I'd get a real one this time.
Oh, real one.
And so I got a real ultrasound. That was my first real ultrasound. Unfortunately, that was also the one where we realized that there wasn't a heartbeat for the other baby. So they were in their own homes. And so they were fraternal, and so it was fine to keep the other baby there. And then Stetson just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and here he is. So yeah. And then I felt such peace the whole pregnancy. Felt an immense amount of peace the whole time, because I was like, I've already seen the baby. I already saw he's healthy. He's gonna be full term, healthy and good, and he has been. And full circle, you know, God's always in the details. My friend, I think Evelyn told me that God's always in the details. And she said, she said, she always says that God's in the details, but I look back and I was like, oh my gosh, Stetson was born the same week that we lost the other baby, 2 years to the date. So I'm just like, you know, here we are. And
you
Shane
never
and I,
2 years before that
no,
because you're always kind of just thinking like that. You're just thinking like the next moment.
Yeah.
Like, could you have imagined that 2 years later to the date, you would actually have this beautiful, healthy little boy?
2 years to the date that the other lost its heartbeat. That just blows my mind. So he's here. He's
my
healthy.
mind that you saw him, that God like gave you that picture before you even knew you were pregnant. And instead of you being like, gosh, I can't believe he just did that. Like, that's so mean. Okay, I know I'm not having, but you're like, thank you for that. Like, thank you for that beautiful picture of a baby. And you weren't aware of why you got that image, but you were still grateful.
Yeah.
It's like Job. You're still grateful.
Poor Job. I know.
Job, thankfully.
Know. But thankful. Yeah. Through all of it, honestly. Every single bit of it. Yeah.
It's such a beautiful story of redemption.
Yeah. He's our little redemption baby. We are just, and honestly, I think that it took the amount of time that it was supposed to take.
Yeah.
If that makes sense at all.
Yeah.
You know, next year we'll be celebrating his first and my 40th.
It's going to be the
here we are.
Biggest, baddest party ever.
Bottles and bubbles.
Bottles and bubbles.
Let's do it.
It's not just a redemptive story of, you know, because now full circle, like here's this beautiful baby, but like your faith in all of it and your faithfulness in God through everything. That in and of itself is such a testimony to your faith. Okay, so I guess 2 questions. If you saw a young woman going through a relationship that was not ideal, what kind of advice would you give her?
I wouldn't give any advice. I would probably just be there and get extra super duper close to her so that when it does hit the fan, you're there.
That's what you probably had. Did you have friends like that? You did?
I did. I kept it under wraps.
Yeah. Shame.
Oh yeah. There's so much in that. Yeah. So all I wanted in those moments was just my friends just to be there. Just be there. I don't need advice. I know what I'm going through is not great. I need to figure this out. God and I need to straighten this out. We've got to figure this out. There's no advice that I would have taken.
I think that we need to get used to, I think we need to start going more to write to God instead of to our friends.
Yeah.
I still need to be reminded of that though. Like, careful. When things happen, I still need to, instead of going outwards, go right up.
I'm pretty sure that you did that for me like a month ago. Remember? And I was struggling with some postpartum stuff. Yes. And you looked at me and you were like, I think you should probably like maybe just, and you were so gentle with it, which was so sweet. And you were like, you know, I think we should just give it up to God.
Yeah.
And I was like, Katie, stop. Like, you're exactly right. And you did it in such a gentle, sweet way that it was so endearing and so kind and so non-judgmental. It was just very much like very real and just like, this is what I would do. But it didn't come off very like Emily, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I thinking?
Like, what?
Yes, I do.
I feel like that happens to me all the time. And I'm just like, even with Jack, I was kind of like, okay, what are we doing? And I needed to like figure it out in my brain before in the past, I would go and tell everybody everything and then like have to update everybody about everything and then like not even know what's actually going on. Why would I give you that worry?
Yep.
When I don't even know what's going on yet? That was really the first time that I have gone up instead of out first. And I think that a lot of times I guess maybe good advice to anyone, especially young girls, is like go up. Like, don't go out. Also, too many people knowing too much stuff, especially when it comes to your marriage and stuff like that, is people are not all in it for your best interest.
No.
And they want you to be miserable just like they are.
Yeah.
And so it's more important, I feel like now than ever, to make sure that you go up and keep that relationship with your husband close to your heart. And I don't want anyone to think that like I would be okay with this kind of behavior. No. It's actually embarrassing. It actually feels yucky.
You're talking to the girl who literally has a degree in welding, like welded with 500 men at night. If it can happen to me, it can literally happen to anybody. It's a slow boil. Somebody once, I think it was a therapist once told me, she's like, if a lobster gets thrown into a boiling cup of water, it's going to jump out. But if it slowly simmers and then turns into a robust boil, then it's in there. You're in there. There it is.
You don't even really see it. You don't feel the burn.
No.
I think the same thing with infertility. My friends that I've talked to, it seems very also shameful. Like, why can't I have a baby? What did I do wrong? How did I affect this? And people don't talk about it.
Again, what's wrong with me?
Right. What's wrong with me?
I'm the denominator. I'm the stuff. It's obviously he has a son. He's fine. He's good. It's me. It's my fault. What have I done? Yeah. It was a lot of like rebuild, and I'm still rebuilding. I'm obsessed with him.
I know.
Literally, I love him so much. It's ridiculous. But it was an out-of-body experience.
It literally is.
I could feel how miraculous the situation was, and I could feel the weight of everything, and it felt ordained and insane and amazing. But for some reason, it was like it wasn't sinking into my soul. Like it was almost like an out-of-body situation.
It's almost too much. Well, I am so grateful and thankful that you said yes to this podcast. Thank you for telling your story, because if it can at least help one person, it wasn't wasted. Yeah. And I have a feeling that your story probably resonated with more than one person on multiple different levels. And I'm just really grateful that you came on and really that you're my friend.
Thank you for having me as your friend and fellow soul sister guest.
Yeah. You're going to send me a... Before we close, I want to take a moment to thank my dear friend Emily. When we first talked about doing this episode, she wasn't sure her story was one people would want to hear. She didn't think she had much to say, but I asked her one question. What if your story could be someone else's lifeline? And friend, that's exactly what it is. Emily, your story is light in a dark place. For anyone walking through domestic violence, divorce, infertility, or the weight of hopelessness, you offer a glimpse of what it looks like when God steps in and starts to redeem everything the enemy tried to steal. Your laughter brings joy, your honesty brings healing, and your life, it points straight to Jesus. I love you, I adore you, and I'm so incredibly grateful for your friendship. Thank you for showing up, for being real, and for letting God use every part of your journey for his glory. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Invisible Strings, where we've tugged at a few threads and hopefully left you with a smile and something to think about. Remember, life's connections might be invisible, but they're oh so strong. If you enjoyed today's chat, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little string pulling in their life. Until next time, keep those invisible strings intact, and I'll see you back here soon for more heartfelt conversations and a dash of fun. Stay connected, stay kind, and keep untangling.